Welcome back. Now, the delay in payments of work done by waste management companies is responsible for huge volumes of waste left uncollected by these service providers. Waste management companies under the Environmental Service Providers Association say an advocacy they embarked on has seen improvements in payments, thereby improving efficiency of waste managers.
The Environmental Service Providers Association is an advocacy body for environmental service providers in Ghana. ESPA is an association of waste management companies providing both solid and liquid waste management services within metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. As partners in development, ESPA has over the years provided solid and liquid waste management services to the citizenry in line with government's policy of maintaining a clean and healthy environment for all. But these duties of members of the association faced challenges.
It is still the responsibility of government to regularize payments for sanitation work that members undertake. At times what happens is these monies are in arrears. So government pays the district assembly common fund. It means they have to pre-finance and then pay the workers, especially those who do the street sweeping. So once these payments delay, it affects them.
An advocacy to get this reversed started with the support of the BUSAC Fund. MMDAs were involved in the education and sensitization process. The results of the advocacy speaks volumes of the work put in by the ESPA and stakeholders. Rates have now been streamlined and the delays are no more.
It was during this time that we got a lot of exposure and a lot of people got to know ESPA and they got to know we're private contractors in the waste management sector with varied membership. And as a result, we got other stakeholders who are interested in sanitation approaching us.
Apart from this, ESPA has now gained recognition. For example, the University of Ghana now works with members of the association in sanitation. The association is now attracting international contracts, all due to the advocacy embarked on.
Right now, in the studio tonight, we have the Executive Secretary of the Environmental Service Providers Association, Madam Ama Entry, joining us. How are you, Madam?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. It's great to have you. Now, I need to have a better understanding of the problems your association and its members faced under the old government system of contracts,
Under the old government system, what happened, we used to work and then it takes about 3-4 months before government to pay. But that is not to say that there are still genuine challenges, but what we have been able to achieve as far as the BUSAC fund was concerned was previously when we work, it can take about years, and as I speak, we still have some issues pending. So we're looking forward to coming up with a policy where we could have government to do regular payments. Then we got to know that the contracts were changed. So it moved from government paying us or the assemblies paying us to performance-based contracts. Yeah. So with the performance-based contracts, we realized that we, the service providers, have to go out there and collect our revenue. So
which must have been very difficult for you,
yes,
considering that you were doing services for local authorities and other government institutions.
Yes, so at the end of the month, we then have to go and even collect these revenues. We also got to know that these revenues had been, like the last time it was reviewed was about 3 years ago. So to get the work that we are doing recognized, we approached BUSAC and then we also got the assemblies. We got about 13, 15 assemblies. Then, with the assemblies, it is the assemblyman or the assembly that would come up with the fee fixing resolution. So we engaged them, we had workshops with them, and then we explained what goes into our work. We all agreed and came out with a formula. So based on that, we got most assemblies to review our fees for us. So in the past, we had fees as low as 5, 10, 15. But now, as a result of the advocacy, we got most assemblies, and in fact, almost all the assemblies to review the rates for us. And I think in a way it has helped us.
It has helped you a lot.
And then revenue generation has gone up. But that is not to say would ask for more.
That's not to say you have all the money you need.
No,
let's look at the problem again. I mean, I first asked you what the problems were with the old system, but at what point did your group decide we have had enough, we can't take it anymore?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
And what necessitated you to now say that enough was enough?
2 years ago, we realized that fuel had been increased. Our work is dollarized. So with the vehicles that we are even using, they are all imported, and maintenance, the only thing that I would say that is local is the human resource. And as if all this is not enough, we have genuine challenges of even going to dispose of the refuse. You have to travel all the way to Tema,
yes,
which is about 90 kilometers turnaround, or in Sumia. So we got to realize that with our operations, we were virtually running at a loss, and there was no way we could continue with the rates we were collecting them. So that is how come we embarked on this advocacy, to ensure that all the assemblies review the rates for us.
So tell me what you have done after all the advocacy you did. Tell me what you have done so far to ensure that this kind of problem do not repeat themselves again.
After the advocacy, we've continued with a lot of public education, creating awareness, and ensuring that the households, all adopt the good practice, sanitation model practice, where we learn to dispose of refuse appropriately. We've also been working closely with the assemblies. As I speak, the truth is we still need the support of the assemblies, because in collecting these fees, it's always difficult. And we as private sector cannot enforce laws we don't have that mandate to get households to pay, even if they don't want to pay.
You can't force them.
No, we can't force them.
But the local assemblies can.
Yes, that's the responsibility of the local assemblies. So even though we have succeeded in government getting the fees reviewed, or we've gotten assemblies to review our fees, we still need the support of these assemblies to ensure that citizens are doing the good practices, where each household apply to our services, and then ensure that at the end of the month they also pay, because it is when the month ends and you are going in for your money, that is when people would allow their dogs to come after you, because they are in there to collect your revenue. It's
pretty difficult. Yeah. I can imagine that. So in dealing with the assembly, what do you do? How do you engage with them? Which strategies do you adapt to ensure that you get proper engagement forum with these assemblies? With
the assemblies, we have regular meetings with them, and I think I must admit the mayor has been very receptive in the...
You mean Accra mayor?
Yes, in these few months, and other mayors, not only the Accra mayor.
So the mayors have been good?
Even with the local government ministry.
I see.
Now they work closely with us. They've been very receptive, and now they are even getting to understand our issues. So now they appreciate the work we do.
So it means that you don't do it all by yourself. You also go through the local government ministry. And what other agencies do you engage, apart from the local government ministry, in resolving some of the challenges you have with the assemblies?
I think basically
it's the
local government and the Ministry of Finance, because with the physical structures that we need, or the infrastructures that we need in place, we also need the Ministry of Finance to do regular, disbursement of funds, so that those, we have different models and we have different people, and in fact, with the membership, we have some that are paid directly by the local government ministry. So for such companies like this, there's a need for the Ministry of Ministry of Finance to release funds on time, so that they can also be able to do their work. So when those payments delay, you realize that it affects the city. That's when you realize that you see heaps of refuse.
All over the place.
The central containers being full. So I also plead with the Ministry of Finance to be a bit proactive and also release funds to our sector, so that we can ensure and then keep Ghana clean.
I know.
As ESPA, we are committed, and we believe that once we get the necessary support, we get attitudinal change, we get citizens to understand why they need to dispose of their waste appropriately. And there's that awareness and creation. And we know that once we are all doing the right thing, our city is going to be clean. I mean, we all realize that there will be growth in the economy. So there are a lot of advantage as far as sanitation is concerned.
That's
so I urge the government to pay attention to the sector and push more funds so that we can resolve the sanitation challenges that we are currently facing in Ghana.
Now, what would you say have been your successes as ESPA in dealing with some of the problems you have enumerated so far? What have been your successes in these?
Currently, I think one of our biggest successes is the franchise system that we have in place, or they call it the polluter pay. Even though we have it, it's not at the fully implementation stage, but it's been a big success. Because we now collect our own revenue, we've taken a lot of financial burden of the assemblies. And it's a good thing. So that is why, at least, it's in the right direction for assemblies to use some of those resources to still support the sector. They shouldn't neglect us. And in the past, you would admit that, so we came in, the city was very bad, we had heaps of refuse all over the place, but with our innovation and then even with our leadership in the sector, we've now introduced recycling, there's technology, we are into composting and other things. So that one too is another achievement. As if all that is not enough, we are now creating a lot of education. There's a lot of awareness, and other people are getting to know the sector, and people now are appreciating the need for us to improve the sanitation sector. And then we also have this cordial working relationship with the government and the MMDAs.
Right.
So I think it's a good success.
Right, Madam Ama Entry, we're grateful that you could join us. Madam Ama Entry is Executive Secretary of the Environmental Service Providers Association. I must say that we were going to get Numobla for the Public Relations Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to join us in the studio. He agreed to join us, but for some reason he declined. We do hope that we can continue discussions on this sanitation. But Madam Entry, before we go, I need to ask you how BUSAC has been helpful in the operations of ESPA and your advocacy.
I must admit that with the publicity and the way now we are being, recognized by even the media, the BUSAC has really exposed the association, and BUSAC has been there in terms of us improving our revenue generation. So with the funds that we got, we were able to train over, close to 200 assemblymen.
I see.
For them to understand our issues, appreciate it, and then we all arrived at a formula now that we could use. So for instance, if petrol should change, the
price of fuel should change.
Price of fuel should change. It's ideal for the assemblies to also know that when the year ends, they have to review our revenue or our fees per the
increases.
Yeah, that the formula
products
that we've all agreed on.
Okay, right.
So at least we've all come to that consensus, and I think even the exposure now and all that we do, BUSAC has been one of the big brains behind it. So I use this opportunity to say thank you to them.
Thanks very much for your time. My name is Stephen here in studios in Accra, and you're watching News at 10. We'll be right back with more. Do stay.